Hey there YouTube, Chemistry Tutors here, and this is the first series of Introduction to Chemistry, and this is the episode Ion Formation. Well, back to the elements. We have learnt that elements are made up of atoms, and atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. The electrons determine the stability of an element. We can think of stability as how reactive or willing the element is to take part in a chemical reaction. The electrons have varying energies, so belong in varying energy levels. The first shell can hold a maximum of 2 electrons. The second shell can hold a maximum of 8 electrons. The third shell can hold a maximum of 8 electrons too. Each shell must be filled before the next shell can hold electrons. The number of electrons in an element's outer shell determines an element's reactivity. The outer shell is called the valence shell, and the outer electrons are called the valence electrons. Chemical reactivity. Well, the alkali metals are very reactive because of the one valence electron in the outer shell. They only need to lose one electron to become stable. Hence, elements such as lithium, sodium, and potassium are very reactive metals, but their ions are very stable. The halogens are very reactive because of the 7 valence electrons in the outer shell. They only need to gain one electron to become stable. Hence, elements such as fluorine, chlorine, and bromine are very reactive elements, and their ions are very stable. Well, what is an ion? An ion is an element which has lost or gained electrons in order to achieve a full outer shell. An element which has a full outer shell is at its most stable. Metals tend to lose electrons and become positively charged ions. These are called cations. Non-metals tend to gain electrons and become negatively charged ions. These are called anions. Metals and non-metals will react together only in order to form an ionic compound. For ion formation, metals will give up their outer electrons to the non-metal in order for both elements to become ions and to form this ionic structure. An example is sodium and fluorine. Sodium needs to lose one electron in order to form an ion, and fluorine needs one electron. Hence, the products of this reaction are sodium fluoride.